Good morning and welcome to another day in my life. It is Thursday, May 12th, and today we're going to talk all about small steps. You've heard me say it before, but really the best way to get started on your goals is to start by taking really small steps. It makes it feel less overwhelming. It's actually sustainable that you can work up to something bigger if you want to work up to something bigger. And the other reason is there are only so many hours in a day. And most of us have a lot of goals that we'd like to work on. And so in order to make progress on multiple goals at once, we have to shrink our steps down into smaller ones. So I'm going to bring you along for my day, really highlighting when I am taking small steps. Things that, like, if time was not a real problem, if I had a million hours in a day, I would likely do this for longer each day so that I could make more progress on whatever goal that is. But instead, I'm taking a small step. And now some of the small steps are I'm working my way up to a bigger step, and we'll talk about that for those examples. But I'm going to bring you along and point out all the little small steps I take on my goals throughout the day. All right, the first one I'm going to talk about is going through photos on my phone. I have 32,000 photos right now saved on my phone. And part of that is just years of photos. But a bigger part of that is I will take photos of things, especially things I'm gonna post on Instagram or share somewhere. And I will take like 20 of them to get, the exact perfect angle. And then I will pick out the one I'm gonna post and I won't delete the rest of them. And I've been doing that for the 8 years I've had my Instagram. So there are a ton of like extra photos that need to get deleted. So I have been working on this goal for years, it feels like. And I use an app called Get Sorted, which has absolutely changed my life regarding this goal, where the way that the app is set up just makes it so easy to either keep or delete each photo. So I set aside a couple of minutes each morning during my morning routine where I make it a goal to go through 100 photos. The app actually has settings where you get to pick how many photos you'd like to go through each day, and they start you at a much lower number than 100. I worked my way up to 100, and that's like the max that they will let you work on each day. Now, when you finish your first round of whatever your goal is, so mine is when I finish my first round of 100 photos, it does say, would you like to do a round 2? And most of the time I say no, because I don't have time. I am making progress on this goal with very, very small steps. So I know it's gonna take me a long time before I eventually get through all the photos on my phone, but at least I'm making a little bit of progress each day. So like we talked about, sometimes the smaller steps are because that's what I need to get started. Sometimes it's because that's all I have time for. Sometimes, like this next one, is just what works best for me, and that is checking in on my budget. I used to not be good at budgeting or tracking my finances or any of that stuff. Years and years ago, I had a decent amount of consumer debt and I was living well above my means, and I finally got it under control. And one of the things that really helped me with that was checking in on my budget every single day. Now, do I do it literally every day? No, I for sure miss days here and there, but I try to do it most days because that small step works way better for me than doing it on a weekly or a monthly basis. Now, for some people, that might be the answer, right? I always recommend when people are working on this type of a goal to start daily. Like if you're gonna start tracking your finances, start daily, because it's so much easier to track just one day or even 2 days. If you get one day behind, then it's 2 days worth, but that's so much easier than trying to start immediately with doing it weekly or even monthly. But then once you have gotten a rhythm and have a system, then maybe you can go to weekly or monthly. But for me, I continuously stick with the daily. You are probably not surprised at all about this next one on the list, which is reading. I do try to read a little bit every day, both in a nonfiction and a fiction book. I try to do my nonfiction reading in the morning when my brain is the most alert. It also gives me a chance to finish my coffee before it's time to work out. And then I usually do my fiction reading at the end of the day. And reading for me is definitely one of those things I would love to just sit here and do it for hours. But I know that I'm unlikely to find big chunks of time, hours of time in my schedule to do that. And so I have to break it up into smaller steps. And I know that it might feel like if you do that, it's like, is it really going to add up? But if you read 10 pages a day, every day for a month, you're gonna finish a 300-page book by the end of the month. And that might not seem like a lot to you, especially when you see these people that are reading 100 books in an entire year. You're like, 1 book a month, like, and that like doesn't even compare. But if right now you're finishing 0 books or less than that, then 1 book a month is a great place to start. Even less than 10 pages. Start with something so small that it feels silly to skip it. And then as you work on it and you build that momentum and that habit of reading every day, then you can start to increase it. I do about 15-ish minutes, depending on where I'm at in my routine. I'm a little bit behind today because I'm filming pieces. It always makes things take longer. So I'm probably gonna only read for about 10 minutes today. I may not even get through the next chapter, but that something is better than nothing. All right, I'm sure you are not surprised at all that one of the small things I'm gonna talk about is working out. And for me, that means working out in the morning. If I don't do it in the morning, I probably won't get to it unless I'm like signed up to take a class later in the day. This is one of those small steps that I am working on building up to something bigger. I took a slightly unintentional break from working out for the last the 2 weeks prior to this video. And so instead of jumping right back into 45 minutes a day like I was doing, I am aiming for 30 minutes a day, but some days I'm only getting 20. And I am, again, focusing on that small habit and doing a little bit every single day to help me build that momentum to get back into it. So I have been following, I've talked about this in a couple of different videos. I'm part of a Facebook group called Hardcore on the Floor that organizes like a calendar of strength classes for the Peloton. Well, on Thursdays, like today, it's typically like yoga and a stretch. It's like an active recovery type of day. But because I know that I'm not going to be working out tomorrow because I'm getting up early to travel, or Saturday because we're getting up early to drive to my brother's graduation, I'm actually going to do a spin class today. I want to do something a little bit more intense. And I think I'm finally going to try that new Peloton game. So if you have a Peloton, you probably know what I'm talking about, but Peloton released this new version of riding. It's called Lane Break, and it's a game. It kind of looks like Guitar Hero, like on the screen if you ever played Guitar Hero, but you get points by going at certain speeds and certain difficulty levels. Why can't I think of what the word is for the little knob, whatever. Anyways, Sam has been playing it. Sam started playing it last week and he is obsessed with it. And he keeps trying to convince me to try it, to do it. And I've been putting it off. Last week I put it off because I didn't get on Peloton at all. And then this week I've been putting it off because the classes are a little bit longer and I've been trying to do a short class, like a 10-minute class plus a strength class. At least one has been my goal this week. And today I'm like, no, I'm just gonna do a spin class. So I'm gonna actually try the Lane Breaker game and see how it goes. Oh my goodness. That was awesome in so many ways. First off, it's so fun. It flew by. Like I was focused on playing the game and not about like the workout that I was doing. But at the same time, it pushed me way harder than I feel like I normally push myself, especially on a ride that they don't tell you to stand up at all. Like you could do the whole thing seated if you wanted to. And I just did the beginner level and I am like for 15 minutes in a 15-minute ride and I am like dripping in sweat. So if you have a Peloton and you have not played it yet and tried it yet, highly recommend. I already gave you credit. I already gave you credit for being the one to try it first. Sam is like dancing behind the camera because he's the one that figured it out. Well, he tried it first and figured out that it was awesome. The negative or the one negative is they don't have a lot of options there right now. There's not that many rides. So if you're like me, and I do repeat rides, but not that often because there's always so many new ones. And especially for someone like me who is really motivated by music, there's just not a ton of options. I did the Broadway one today and there's a couple other ones that look exciting for me, but not like as many as normal. But I feel like at least until I get through the ones I'm excited about, I'm always gonna do the Lane Break version. Today is one of those days that all I wanna do is go outside. And since those later calls got rescheduled, I kind of wish I had rearranged my day a little bit to save some of the computer work and like packed in the morning and then after that call gone and like sat outside and worked outside. I might still find something to do and go work outside because it is just too nice to sit inside. I just like looking out this window like, oh my God. Anyways, I wanted to talk about another small step that I have been taking. And what made me think of it is I was prepping the video that's already gone live about goal action step ideas for health and wellness. And I talked in that video about a lot of different small step ideas specifically for that goal. And it reminded me to talk about water. Water is one of those goals that you gotta work in small steps. There is something biological and I don't know the science behind it. I just know from what I have felt, like I can feel when my body is getting used to more water. And to go from like a small amount of water to a massive amount of water in one big leap is gonna make you uncomfortable. Yes, you're gonna go to the bathroom a ton and it's not super sustainable because your body literally like it needs the water, but it doesn't know how to handle that water. I really am not explaining this well because, again, not an expert in this topic. Like, I'm not a scientist. I am a woman with a cattail in her face though. Anyways, so when it comes to drinking more water, if that is a goal that you have, if you want to drink more water, we've got to take it in small steps. And you've probably heard me say this before, but measuring water in like cups like this, like not cups the measuring amount, like a cup like this, is so much easier than trying to measure ounces. Measuring our ounces can just get so complicated. And so if you want to drink more water, pick a cup. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what kind of cup, whatever cup, 1 cup consistently in your house. I just said cup a million times in that sentence. And drink that consistently, just one. And then once you're consistent with that, then up it to 1.5. Just keep it simple and take it in small steps. And I promise that by taking it in small steps like that, your body will get used to the amount of water, and then it will be easier for you to continue to add more small steps. And then eventually, when you're drinking the amount of water that you're trying to get to, or that your body needs, it won't feel as mentally overwhelming, but it also won't feel as like physically overwhelming versus if tomorrow you just decided to start drinking a whole gallon of water. All right, I have about 45 minutes before my next one-on-one coaching call, and I thought about it a little bit more. As much as I'd love to go sit outside and work today, I just have like way too many things to do to try and prepare for being out of town and packing and all of these things. So I decided to go ahead and get my fix of being outside by just going for a short walk. So I'm gonna get some fresh air. I'm gonna go just do a couple of laps in the neighborhood, and also on my way back, swing by the UPS store. I have 2 things to pick up. One is a dress. If you watched, I did a vlog a few weeks ago where I tried on a bunch of Amazon dresses to wear to a tea when I'm in Ireland for my friend that's getting married. And the one that I ended up picking out, I just don't, no, I tried it on again and I don't love it. I returned the other 2 that I tried on. I tried on the one that I picked, and I don't know, I don't love it. So I ordered another one, so I'm gonna go pick that up. And then I also have a new Amplify planner that I literally ordered on Monday, and today is Thursday and it is already here. It shipped the same day, ordered it Monday, shipped on Monday, and it's here. So I'm gonna go pick that up as well. How freaking pretty is this color? I'm obsessed. Okay, I've talked about this, so many Plan With Me videos, so many day in the lives. The Amplify Daily Planner is my favorite daily planner layout of any daily planner ever. And I have started getting the undated ones. I got the undated one by accident, not by accident. I got it because I didn't like any of the colors of the dated one. So I got the undated one 1/4. Last year I was getting the dated version. And I realized that because I don't use it every single day, like I don't always use this on Saturdays and Sundays, and even every work day, if I'm not working a full day, I will use like a daily notepad or just like a checklist notepad. And so by using the undated one, I go through them not as fast, and I can make this last much longer. So it's May 12th today, and the one I'm about to finish, let's see, the first date I used it was in November. And I was using stickers on it too. That was a while back. So I made that one last like really 5 months, give or take, but I traveled a lot, I had the wedding going on, and so it kind of makes sense that I was able to make it last that long. Now normally I don't worry about any of the other pages. So the Amplify Planner, which I've done a whole review on this planner at some point before, has like a monthly layout, and then it also has a weekly layout. Oh, it's grid. So I think last time I bought the vertical one just because like it doesn't even matter because I'm not usually using these pages, but I think I am gonna start using them. That's why I got the horizontal one. I'm gonna try and use these little boxes for journaling. And same thing, I'm not gonna do like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's just gonna match up. Like I'm using this, you know, day 1 in the daily is gonna match up with this box over here, and I am going to just use this for like my morning journaling. I have not been doing a good job of journaling, and so I am going to start small. See, that's how I was gonna tie it in somehow, that this is what I'm gonna start with, is just this much of journaling to get back into it. I'm gonna start it next week when I get home. I'm gonna stick it into my morning routine, and I'm going to start journaling again, but just this little tiny amount. So that is why I picked the horizontal, although I definitely thought the horizontal was gonna be lines, but I still think that this is gonna be better suited for journaling than the vertical layout. So that is my new Amplify planner. And I mentioned this, I love the paper, I love the layout. The only thing I wish is that there was a little bit more space in between the lines. Like we could get rid of this bottom note section and just space out all the lines a little bit more. Okay, first off, we got the sweetest package today. My grandmother, my stepdad's mom, paints. That's like her retirement hobby. And she painted pictures of our wedding venue. There's two. There's this angle and then there's this one. It's not of the venue, it's of like the water and the greenery, trees. I don't even have words today. Behind the venue. And they're just, oh my God, they're so beautiful. And I'm so excited. Just so thoughtful. Just like random surprise in the mail I got today. The reason I picked up the camera to talk about, the small step I'm gonna talk about now, is related to spending less time on social media. And there are times that I feel good about the amount of time I'm spending on my phone, on social media, and then there's times that I do not feel good about it. And right now is one of those times that I do not feel good about it. And your phone, well, if you have an iPhone, it has like where you can set app limits. And for the longest time, so I've worked on this goal before, and at the time I combined Instagram and Facebook together into one time limit, and I was doing a good job, and I would lower it a little bit every now and then to try and like get myself a little bit less off my phone, and I was always doing a pretty good job. And then it got to the point that I was like basically hitting it every day, and it became a habit, a negative one, just to override hitting the limit. It just like it doesn't even faze me anymore. So I need to figure something out to undo that habit. The first thing I did, which was at a recommendation from a friend who is working on the same thing, is splitting up Instagram and Facebook into their own things. Mostly because Facebook for me, if I go on Facebook on my phone, it's not a scroller for me anymore. I don't know if it's just I don't like what's on Facebook, but I'm not spending time scrolling on Facebook. I will check it more times than I probably need to in a given day, but most of the time when I'm on Facebook, it's to like interact with my family or the Patreon community. It's not the same scrolling comparison trap that Instagram is for me. The other problem is that because this business is now my full-time job, I do think that my social media timing is different than it used to be. So what I am gonna do, for starters, is take my own advice. It's a tip that I give a lot in videos and to one-on-one clients, and that is to start with where you're at. Stop trying to set a goal, hi Charlie, on like based on a number or based on somebody else's goal or in my case, on a prior version of myself. So the first step, and this is what I'm gonna sit down and do right now, is I'm gonna use the monthly layout. It's kind of almost too bright to see, the monthly layout page in the Power Sheets. And I am gonna, for May, just for May, I'm gonna track time. And the great thing about the iPhone is I can go back and look at how long I spent on Instagram and on Facebook every day in the month of May. And so I am gonna start with that. I'm gonna fill in, and it's probably, I also think that the act of like writing it down for me for this goal is gonna be a little bit like, oh wow. I'm not gonna wanna look at these numbers and write them down on a piece of paper, but I'm going to for May. And then in June, starting in June, I'm not gonna even make it a goal right now. I'm actually gonna turn the limits off on my phone because I need to get out of that habit of just like ignoring the limits. So I'm gonna turn the limits off on my phone. And then in June, I'm gonna make it a June goal. In fact, by the time this video goes up, the June goals video will already be up. So if you probably saw this in my June goals video, to not hit my limits for both of them. And the limit is gonna be something small, tiny step lower than whatever my average is for May. I don't know, I say average and it might even be like the max or the min. We'll see, we'll see. I might like, I'm such a math nerd, y'all. I might like take out the outliers and then average them. We'll see what I decide to do for my June goal. But for now, it's just tracking the data, which is again, something that I feel like is, I know these things. And when I work with someone one-on-one, like this is what we'll do. I will say like, this week, you're just tracking the data. We're just getting the information. We're getting the baseline. We're figuring out where you're at. Next week, we'll set a goal. And then when we set the goal, we set it really small in comparison to where they're at. This is me taking my own advice on an area of my life I'd like to improve. Now that I've done this exercise, y'all, my Facebook numbers are not that bad. And honestly, it is not that big of a problem for me. So I actually don't even think I'm gonna make that a goal. My Instagram numbers, it's interesting. It's much lower on the weekends, which makes sense because I do know I use Instagram for the business. And so man, I wish I could set limits like differently based on different days, but I'm gonna just set it based on like my weekday numbers, which man it's not pretty, but I'm gonna work on it a little bit at a time. And even if I only lower it by 5 minutes every month until we get to the end of the year, like that might be my small steps, but I will be in a better place in December than I am now. All right, I just finished my last call of the day, so that concludes. That's the end of my work day. The only thing I have left to do tonight is pack. I say tonight, it feels, I know, like this happens every year, Laken, but it feels like it is so much earlier than it is because it's still so bright outside. But it's already like 6:30. I know that's not super late, but like it feels like it should be earlier given how bright it is. But anyways, all I have left to do tonight is pack. Although before I do that, I need to fold this pile of laundry that's sitting on the bed. That needs to happen first, and then I can pack. But I don't actually have any plans to work on goals for the rest of the night because well, let me take that back. Not any like goals that I'm gonna check off, right? So I'm gonna pack. I've already made my packing list for the trip this weekend. So step 1, fold laundry. Step 2, pack. Step 3, I'm just gonna have leftovers for dinner. Sam is out tonight at an event, so I am just gonna have some leftovers for dinner, and then I'm probably gonna take a bubble bath, which in my eyes is a goal achievement because self-care is always a goal of mine, always a focus, and taking baths is one of my favorite ways, if not favorite way, to end my day and just like unwind. If Sam was here, I would probably hang out with him and either watch a movie or play a game, but because he is not gonna be here anyways, I am going to take a bath and relax and likely get to bed early. That way I can hopefully get up and do some of my morning routine before my flight in the morning. So that is going to be it for this day in the life. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday focused on helping you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for watching. That has absolutely changed my life in terms, but I use a cat hair in my mouth.